Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we are going back to Ireland and the trip that I took with my father last fall. The total video trip can be shown here, but it's quite long. It's almost 50 minutes. This portion of the trip though, was actually something really enjoyable and I wanted to go back and revisit it. So in this video, we're gonna do the tour of the Jameson distillery and the Guinness brewery. Now, when we were in Dublin, almost all of the tours directly through the Jameson website were sold out. Didn't do a ton of planning ahead, and we ended up finding a site called Viatour. This is not sponsored in any way by them, but ultimately it was able to get us a guided tour through the Jameson distillery, a walk through town, and then a tour of the Guinness brewery directly. Now, when we were there, the Guinness brewery actually wasn't that busy, so waiting wouldn't have been a huge issue, but this tour allows you to skip the line. So if you're going during a busier period, this may be a good option for you.
Going in for the Jameson tour. Here, should be a good time.
So after meeting up with our guide at the Jameson distillery, we began the tour. And the tour starts with a beverage. And when we were there, you had three options for your drink. You could get whiskey neat, whiskey on the rocks, or you could get Jameson and ginger. Lacey went with the Jameson and ginger, and I took the Jameson neat. The tour starts with the history of Jameson, which is actually pretty interesting, and they have a really cool interactive display that takes you through that history, as well as a guide that does a narrative overview of it.
And although Jameson's name is on our label, our history, our heritage is shared.
From there, you move to another room where you get to get an overview of the distillation process and how the product is made. And then finally, you head into a separate tasting room where you get to try several different varieties of their whiskey. And during that tasting, you get an overview of differences between those types of whiskey. So differences in the distillation process, differences in the ingredients, and differences in the finishing process, the aging process.
Has anyone tried the Black Barrel before? Phoebe, perfect. Anyone tried the Crested? Same person. Has everyone tried the original? Has anyone not tried the original? Have you been living under a rock? Yeah, fair enough. It's a good place to have your first one, my friend.
From there, our tour guide took us on a walk through Dublin. Now, when I read online, I misread, and the walk ended up being a little bit longer than we had intended. And from there, we took a walk through Dublin.
Lacey making friends.
People, Matthew, grandfather Matthew. Okay, temperance smoking, so.
The total walk was probably 2 to 3 miles in total. Relatively flat. There was one hill. You can take a taxi and skip that part if you don't want to walk. But it was really interesting to walk through Dublin with a tour guide. We saw a lot of great things to check out the following day. And we stopped in front of the oldest pub in Dublin, which was the Brazen Head, where we had lunch the following day. So that was really interesting. From there, we headed up the hill to the Guinness brewery. And the Guinness brewery is definitely worth a visit. Apparently they redid this visitor center in the last 20 years, and it's absolutely phenomenal. You get the history of Guinness. There's actually a lot of time paid to their advertising, which I didn't appreciate how industry leading that was. There's a lot of really iconic Guinness advertising.
Is that what it says? Ride, little fishy.
It's a pretty great O-face.
And then they take you up and they start showing you the process and the distribution network, which is all very fascinating.
So 1, 2, 3.
And it ends on top of the visitor center at a bar, the Sky Bar. And from there, you have an amazing view of all of Dublin. So that was great. We hung out there for a while. It was pretty crowded.
Slante.
And there were several restaurants the floor below that, and we ended up going there for dinner, which was phenomenal. So that was the tour. Hope you enjoyed it. I would definitely recommend it. When we were there, I think the price was like $125 a person, which is more than if you go and book these tours directly yourself. But again, the Jameson tour was sold out, so this was the only option available to us to be able to do that. Certainly not something I wanted to miss while I was there. But also I think, you know, depending on your viewpoint, if you wanted to be able to skip the line at these places, it could be worth the money to you as well. All right, thanks for watching. If you liked the video and you want to see part of our tour in Ireland where we went to Blarney Castle, you can click the further video here. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.